The deep ocean is one of the last unexplored frontiers on Earth, a place where sunlight never reaches and pressure could crush a human in seconds. Here, squids aren't just squids, they are bizarre, almost alien creatures that can glow, vanish, or grow to monstrous sizes. The deeper you go, the stranger and more terrifying they become. From the massive eyes that see in total darkness, to tentacles that can snatch prey in the blink of an eye. These creatures have evolved in ways that seem straight out of science fiction. Welcome to the world where squids rule the abyss. Why darkness turns squids into ocean nightmares. The deeper you descend into the ocean, the more that world changes. And for squids, those changes reshape them into creatures that look like nightmares to us. Down there, sunlight doesn't reach. Pressure grows so intense it would crush a human in seconds, and food becomes a rare treasure. Squids that live this deep have evolved in ways to enable their survival, but those adaptations often make them look bizarre, even horrifying. For instance, many deep-sea squids have enormous eyes. These enormous eyes let them catch the tiniest flickers of light, maybe a flash of bioluminescence from another creature or the faint glow drifting down from above. In one species, the Histiotuthis heteropsis, a sort of cockeyed squid, one eye grows much larger than the other, giving it an almost alien, unbalanced look, with a huge advantage in spying prey or predators above and below. Light is scarce, so many squids can produce their own. Bioluminescence is the production of light through special organs called photophores for communication, distracting predators, or luring prey. But the glow can be eerie, flickering lights, ghostly pulses, a living lantern deep under the sea. That in itself can be terrifying if you just imagine seeing that in pitch-black water. Because food is rare in the abyss, squids also adapt by being opportunistic. They might have large mouths or be able to stretch their bodies to eat whatever odd meal floats by. Some even save energy by moving slowly, using gentle fin pulses rather than energy-hungry jet propulsion, a means of surviving when meals can be days apart. Then there's pressure. At great depths, the water pushes in with crushing intensity. Many deep-sea squids avoid the problem by not using air-filled organs for buoyancy, which would collapse. Instead, relying on solutions like ammonium chloride in their tissues so their bodies stay neutrally buoyant. Their bodies are often soft or gelatinous, not rigid, so they don't get crushed under pressure. And now, let's discuss the different types of squids and their horrifying shapes living deep down in the sea. The vampire squid that lives in complete darkness. Down in the pitch-black depths of the ocean lives a creature so strange, so unlike anything we know on land, that it seems pulled from nightmares, the vampire squid, scientific name Vampiroteuthis infernalis. Though its name sounds terrifying, the vampire squid doesn't hunt like a monster. Instead, it has evolved clever, eerie strategies to survive and thrive where almost nothing else can. One of the most haunting things about the vampire squid is how it glows. Its entire body, arms, fins and mantle, are dotted with tiny light-producing organs called photophores. In the darkness of the deep sea, these photophores become its secret superpower. When the squid stays still, its dark, jelly-like form melts into the surrounding gloom. But if danger looms, it can flick those lights on, and sometimes it lets loose a thick, sticky cloud of bioluminescent mucus. This glowing cloud floats through the water for up to 10 minutes, dazzling predators, confusing them, and giving the squid precious moments to vanish. It hardly moves, drifting through depths between roughly 600 and 1,200 meters where oxygen is scarce and food is even scarcer. Despite being a cephalopod, the vampire squid doesn't chase after prey. Instead, it waits patiently until the ocean's marine snow, a slow rain of dead plankton, jelly-like creatures, and tiny particles, drifts by. Then it deploys two incredibly thin, retractable filaments, sweeping through the water to snag bits of this detritus. Once captured, it traps the food in mucus, rolls it into a ball, and draws it into its beak. This anomalous way of feeding is efficient and low energy, perfect for a world where meals are few and far between. The metabolism of the vampire squid is far slower than most squids. Its body is constructed to cling afloat without expelling much energy. Rather than powerful squid-style jet swimming, it drifts softly, buoyed by gelatinous tissues that match the density of surrounding seawater. It moves gently with two fins when it wants to change depth. Its appearance, too, is strangely beautiful and haunting. Some have described its eyes, proportionally the largest in the animal kingdom, as glowing orbs, adapted to pick up the faintest flicker of light that might signal prey or danger. Its arms are webbed, forming a cloak around its body. When threatened, it pulls its arms inward in a pineapple posture, wrapping itself in that cloak so only dark, ominous shapes remain, plus those glowing arm-tip lights that can mislead a predator about where the body really is. The giant squid. It's a beast as big as mystifying that seems torn straight from old sailors' legends. The giant squid is one of the most awe-inspiring and elusive animals on Earth. These giants don't live near the surface. They live in the deep, dark ocean, rarely seen by man. Yet, what scientists do know about them is enough to make your skin crawl and your imagination race. First, size. Documented specimens of giant squid may reach about 13 meters, roughly 43 feet, from the tip of their tentacles to the end of their mantle. That's taller than many small trucks. Their bodies combine 8 strong arms and 2 monster-length feeding tentacles, ending in rings of powerful suckers, ideal for grabbing prey like fish, shrimp, or even other squids. Then there are the eyes, and these are perhaps the most haunting feature. The eyes of a giant squid can reach up to 27 centimeters in diameter each. Imagine eyes as large as dinner plates. These enormous eyes, scientists believe, help the squid spot silhouettes and faint glows deep in the ocean, perhaps even sensing the approach of predators, like the sperm whale from hundreds of meters away. When hunting, the giant squid strikes with its long tentacles, shooting them out to catch prey from a distance. After the arms catch the prey, using the suckered rings, the catch is pulled toward the sharp beak of the squid. Here, powerful jaws and a radula, a tongue-like organ covered with teeth, shred the meal into digestible pieces. Despite its giant size, it's also built to live in deep, high-pressure waters. Rather than rely on air-filled swim bladders like fish, it uses a lighter internal fluid to stay neutrally buoyant. Because these squid live so far below waves and rarely approach the surface, for centuries they remained shadowy legends, stories told by sailors about monstrous sea creatures dragging ships under. The fact that they are real, living giants too, makes those old legends feel chillingly close to truth. Even today, scientists only catch glimpses. Most knowledge comes from dead specimens washed ashore or found in whales' stomachs. But even with limited observations, the giant squid continues to be one of the great mysteries of the ocean. It's a real-life sea monster, huge, alien, built for the dark, and hiding far beneath where sunlight dares to reach. It reminds us just how strange and powerful the deep ocean and the things that live there can be. The colossal squid. Think of the colossal squid as the burly, heavily muscled cousin of the giant squid. Both are deep sea monsters, but the colossal squid adds extra lethal features that make it stand out as something even stranger. While giant squid are long and slender, with huge tentacles built for snatching prey far away, the colossal squid is chunkier and built for gripping, tearing and surviving in freezing, crushing deep-sea darkness. The colossal squid dwarfs many sea creatures when it comes to mass. While estimates vary, some put a total length, including tentacles, up to 14 meters. But size isn't really the point of awe. Its mantle, that is body, is much thicker and heavier than that of the giant squid. Its body is broader, more muscular, giving it strength rather than just reach. Arguably, its most terrifying feature, the hooks. Unlike the giant squid, whose tentacles end mostly in suckers, the colossal squid's arms and tentacles are armed with rotating hooks along with suckers. These sit on the clubs at the ends of the tentacles, able to swivel, a brutal adaptation for grabbing and locking onto slippery deep-sea prey. Even its arms, not tentacles, have large suckers and hooks for a death grip. Its eyes add to the horror. The colossal squid has some of the largest eyes in the entire animal kingdom, roughly 25-27 centimeters, 10-11 inches across. With such enormous eyes, it can detect the faintest glimmer of light in near total darkness, perfect for spotting other creatures or predators deep under the waves. With that heavy, muscular build and limbs equipped with hooks, the colossal squid is considered more of an ambush predator or a grab-and-hold kind, rather than a long-distance chaser. Some scientists believe that it drifts silently in deep Antarctic waters, striking when some prey is unfortunate enough to be within reach, its powerful tentacles and hooks doing most of the work without having to swim fast. Another difference with the giant squid. Whereas giant squid employ very long tentacles to snare prey from far away, the colossal squid seems built for close-range violence. Its tentacle clubs are thick and short compared to the whip-like reach of giant squids, yet armed with hooks, they may deliver far more secure and deadly holds on prey. What this all means is, though the giant squid captures imaginations with its length and legendary sea monster reputation, colossal squid is perhaps the darker, more brutal version, heavier, tougher, equipped with rotating hooks for brutal grip and giant eyes to rule the dark. It does not rely on length or speed quite as much as on strength, stealth, and perfect adaptations for deep-sea hunting. The firefly squid. Down in the deep waters off Japan swims a tiny creature so full of surprises it almost seems magical. Meet the firefly squid. What a senior scintillans! At only 7 or 8 centimeters long, it might look physically unimpressive. But what it lacks in size, it makes up for with a light show that turns the pitch-black sea into something dreamlike or eerie, depending on how one looks at it. The firefly squid is covered in hundreds, in fact up to 800-1,000, of tiny light-producing organs called photophores. These photophores run along its belly, mantle, head, around its eyes, and even at the tips of certain arms. It is capable of a glowing pulse of blue-green light when the squid turns them on, often flashing in patterns, sometimes steady. That glow isn't just for looks. During the day, it lives mostly between about 200 and 400 meters deep, where sunlight can't reach it. But at night, it rises toward the surface to hunt. The glowing photophores act as a sort of underwater lure. Small fish or crustaceans get attracted to the light, curious or fooled, and drift near. That's when the squid strikes, grabbing prey with its tentacles or arms. Interestingly, besides hunting, firefly squid utilize their glow for camouflage too. Most predators in deep water look upwards to spot prey silhouetted against the faint light from above. The squid turns on a special set of photophores along its belly to blend with the dim downlight and make its shape disappear, called counter-illumination. But that sparkle is also part of romance in the deep sea. In spring, generally during March to May, firefly squid congregate in incredibly large numbers near coastal areas such as Toyama Bay in Japan to spawn. And as they congregate, their bioluminescence illuminates the water, producing this surreal blue sparkle that has mesmerized people for centuries. The scientists have even found something really wild. The firefly squid may, in fact, be the only squid with actual color vision. Its eyes house 3 different types of visual pigments, which enable it to differentiate between the bioluminescent light and ambient light, especially useful when communication, camouflage, or attraction depend on subtle changes in the glow. That means when one squid flashes a pattern of lights, another can see the message. In a world where the deep sea is cold, dark, and empty, this tiny squid turned light into survival, hunting, hiding, and even courtship. But for us on the surface, its glow may be dreamy. Under the waves, it's a brilliant tactical tool. Almost invisible squid. Imagine drifting through the dark, ghostly world of the deep ocean, a place where hiding means everything. For the glass squid of the family Cranchidae, hiding doesn't equate to crawling under a rock. It means vanishing completely. To that effect, their bodies are nearly entirely transparent, so as they glide through water, they are practically invisible. Perhaps only their eyes and a few internal organs might betray their presence. But even transparency wouldn't be enough to protect them. Predators lurking below often hunt by silhouettes against the faint downlight coming from above, and even a see-through body casts a dark shape. The glass squid uses a far more cunning trick. It employs built-in light organs called photophores to give off a soft glow on its underside, matching the weak downward light. This smart use of bioluminescence, a strategy known as counter-illumination, effectively cancels out their shadow, making them disappear even when seen from below. The really interesting part is how the light cloak works. Viewed under a microscope, the cells composing the photophores behave somewhat like fiber optic cables, except that they're leaky. Instead of tightly channeling the light, they allow it to spread out in many directions. Why is that useful? Because in the deep sea, the light coming from above doesn't all flow perfectly downward. It scatters, changes intensity and direction. The leaky structure helps the squid mimic that messy, uneven light, meaning it blends in convincingly from many angles. Glass squid may also change tactics if transparency or matching to the ambient light level won't cut it. Some species have skin cells with pigments inside them, chromatophores, that they extend or shrink depending on danger or surroundings to change color or even darken themselves. Some species of glass squid, if threatened, can even puff themselves into a round, blob-like shape by drawing their tentacles inside their mantle, a weird, balloon-like disguise that's hard for predators to bite. Aside from stealth, this transparency and buoyancy strategy also makes survival easier. Glass squid often fill their internal cavity with ammonium chloride, a substance lighter than seawater. This natural flotation device allows them to drift gently through open water without wasting precious energy, a major advantage in the deep sea where meals are rare and energy must be conserved. The cockatoo squid. The cockatoo squid, often included in the glass squid group, is one of those deep-sea creatures that's almost magic, a true Houdini of the ocean. In the inky mid-waters where it lives, the cockatoo squid deploys an amazing trick. In a heartbeat, it can change from almost invisible to a splash of color. Underneath its skin are thousands of tiny color cells called chromatophores. Each of the chromatophores houses pigment sacs that expand or contract when the squid triggers them, showing or concealing colors such as reds, browns, yellows, and so on. Beneath those lie still deeper layers, reflecting cells, iridophores and leucophores, that can shimmer in blues, greens, silvers, giving a metallic or ghostly glow if needed. What makes the cockatoo squid so special is how it combines those with its mostly transparent body. By default, when its pigment cells are relaxed, the squid almost disappears. Its internal organs faintly visible, but its outline blending into the surrounding water. But when it wants to be distinguished, or send a message, or perhaps confuse predators, it can quickly inflate chromatophores, paint itself with darker or glowing hues, even flash light through photophores right under its eyes in order to erase its silhouette. Scientists watched cockatoo squids during remote-operated vehicle dives, once, for instance, at about 585 meters down, as the squid's skin shifted from deep red to transparent when the ROV's artificial light fell upon it. The shift was quick and the effect unearthly. One moment, a ghostly red shape floating in water, the next a near-invisible blur with shining eyes. This rapid transformation doesn't just look cool, it's survival. In the deep ocean, it is often far better to hide and blend in than to fight. By changing colors or fading away completely, the cockatoo squid can evade predators, surprise prey, or simply not be seen in the first place. And because its body is buoyant thanks to ammonia-filled internal cavities, it can hover almost motionless, which in turn helps them to make the color change really effective. Fangtooth squid cousins. You asked about tiny squid with disproportionate teeth, but when you dig into scientific records, the creatures that really match small body huge teeth aren't squid but deep-sea fish. One of the most infamous of these is fangtooth, scientific name Anoplagaster cornuta, often misimagined as a squid cousin, but actually a fish. The fangtooth is terrifying in appearance, yet tiny in size. Adults grow up to about 16 centimeters, 6-7 inches, long. Its head is large and deep. The mouth is disproportionately huge, with dagger-like teeth, the largest in the ocean in relation to body size. Those jaws look so monstrous because the fangtooth needs to make every possible meal count. In the deep sea, dark and cold with food scarce, Anything that drifts close could become potential prey. The long, sharp fangs can be perfect for grasping and holding on to slippery prey fish, squid or crustaceans, sometimes even larger than it. Because the teeth are so long, the fish actually evolved special sockets on the roof of its mouth, and even around its brain case to accommodate them when the jaw closes. Without those sockets, the fangs would stab into its own skull. Even then, it still can't shut its mouth completely, showing how over-the-top its fang-to-body ratio is. Despite their monstrous appearance, fangtooths are not dangerous to humans. Their generally small size ensures that they remain harmless to us. The fearsome teeth and gape are meant for deep-sea survival, not attacks on large creatures. Some people also point to a rare deep-sea squid species called Promachoteuthis sulcus, sometimes sensationally referred to as a squid with human-like teeth. The reality, though, is decidedly less exciting. What appears to be teeth are, in fact, part of soft tissue, not hard structures for biting. Scientists explain that those aren't real functional fangs, like the fangtooth fish. The squid still depends on a typical squid beak to eat. So, although the phrase tiny squid with disproportionate teeth sounds really dramatic and spooky, in the documented world of marine biology, the real miniature terrors with oversized chompers are deep-sea fish, not true squid. Fangtooths show how life under crushing darkness forces extreme adaptations. When prey is sparse, even a small creature must grow monstrous teeth to survive. Not just squids, but predator mimics. Actually, the idea of ctenophores or comb jellies being predator mimics rather than true squids is interesting. But it is not really what scientists mean by calling them mimics in the sense of copying squids. They are a completely different group from squids. Still, the comb jellies were fearsome and resourceful predators at times with ruses that seemed almost like mimicry. Here's how they hunt, disguise themselves, and survive in strange, beautiful ways. Comb jellies glide through the water on rows of tiny, hair-like cilia, like invisible combs, rather than fins or tentacles, like squids. Since most of them are almost entirely transparent, they are rarely seen in open waters. Their transparent bodies and silent flight allow them to sneak up on prey without revealing their presence, the ultimate natural invisibility cloak. They do not use venoms or stings. Instead, many ctenophores depend on sticky cells called colloblasts, unique to their kind to trap prey. When small prey such as plankton, larvae or tiny crustaceans brush against the ctenophore's long trailing tentacles or lobes, the colloblasts release a sticky glue that instantaneously traps the prey. Once stuck, the tentacles retract and reel the victim gently towards the mouth. Some ctenophores, for example, those in the order Beroida, don't even bother with tentacles. They simply swim toward other comb jellies and engulf them whole with a wide, gaping mouth. Their inside surfaces have macrocilia, like tiny internal teeth that help tear apart prey if needed. In other species, cetans, the comb rows, refract light passing through them, producing a shimmering rainbow effect as they drift, which might confuse or distract prey, or at least make the ctenophore less obvious. Some of them also glow. Many comb jellies are capable of bioluminescence. Their glittering comb rows or light emission may act as lures in dark or dim waters, attracting unsuspecting plankton or larvae closer. Ctenophores seldom trigger the escape reflex of their prey because they drift silently, move slowly, and often blend almost completely into the watery background. Comb jellies are unlike predators that rely on chasing or shocking the prey. They depend upon the subtleties of stealth, surprise, and sticky snares, like underwater ghost vines, instead of hunters shaped for combat. The result was these gelatinous creatures, though fragile-looking, are among the ocean's most effective predators. They can catch microscopic plankton one moment and devour other jellies or larvae the next. It is a strange alien way of life. No fierce jaws or fast swimming, only subtle waiting, sticky traps, invisibility, and sometimes light lures. But it is terrifyingly effective. So though comb jellies are not squid cousins or literal predator mimics of squid, their survival strategies, transparency, silent gliding, sticky tentacles, occasional glow, make them ghost-like hunters of the deep, mysterious, often unseen and deadly if you're small enough to get caught in their sticky net. Thanks for getting into the mysterious world of deep-sea squids with us. If you loved seeing these psychedelic hunters and their incredible survival tricks, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep-sea adventures. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a glimpse of the ocean's strangest creatures. Which squid fascinated you the most? The glowing firefly squid, the color-changing cockatoo, or the massive colossal squid? Let us know in the comments. And remember, the ocean's darkness hides more wonders than we can imagine. Keep exploring with us.